Hey guys, just woke up. So we're going to play around with the cars a little bit today, and then we're going to go ahead and do an HKS exhaust review for the dual high powers that are on the Infiniti. Really cool system, really top of the line. I think it runs about $1,300 for the catback system on there, but it's well worth it. You can buy so many, they're just complete junk systems that don't give you any horsepower, don't do anything except change the sound of the car. I mean, if they're really cheapy ones, you're probably even losing power on them. So you go with a quality name brand like HKS, you get some good stuff. So we're gonna look at the HKS exhaust. I'm gonna do my best to record the sound so you can see what it sounds like. Kind of hard to get sound over the videos, but you know, we'll see what we can get right there. And we're also gonna run over to the garage and we're gonna play with the Malibu a tiny bit. Probably won't film too much of that, but basically what I'm doing today is just prepping it for the bodywork. The last real thing that needs is the bodywork, but I need to fabricate some mounts and stuff to hold the bumpers on and to get the headlights mounted correctly, because the original mounts obviously were destroyed in the accident. We're gonna do that. I'll probably do a tune-up on the G35, and I'll put that in its own video, how to tune the car, and let's get going. I'm headed to go return someone's phone because they're a dumbass and they left it in my car. So that's how my Friday's starting out today. What about you guys? At least look at the bright side. It gives me an excuse to drive the Del Sol. Any excuse to drive the Del Sol is a good excuse. Oh man, look at that fuel gauge. That couldn't get much lower, could it? I think we might need to stop for some fuel. There's a serious struggle when you have two cars and the gas caps are on opposite sides. I constantly have to switch around at the pump whenever I pull up. Never get the right side the first time. So this is my G35 with the HKS dual cat pack. It's a dual high power cat back exhaust system on there. And I mean, those tips are just huge. Love this thing. Originally it was chromed, mine's powder coated black because obviously it looks a lot better, but I think it looks a lot better. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like from the outside. I'm going to put the camera here under the back of the car. Alright, let's take this thing for a spin. Something I really enjoy about this exhaust is it's not overly loud. It doesn't scream going down the freeway where everyone looks at you and you just look like a gigantic racer. Like, it's dealable for like daily driving. It gets a little bit loud at some RPM ranges. Pretty nice. It just mostly just gives it that really good tone that you're looking for. Like a really, really nice tone and a really aggressive note. Also, I like how it's not too high-pitched. I hear some aftermarket exhausts, and they're a little high-pitched, and you kind of like sound like a lawnmower. So it's kind of nice not having one that's too high-pitched. Another thing I really like about it is that it increases the throttle response so much. It makes the throttle on this car so responsive. It's so nice. Now, some things that I don't like so much are around 3,000 RPM, it gets kind of loud and has kind of this grumbly sound, and that's kind of the RPM range you're accelerating at it if you're driving kind of just like leisurely and slowly through traffic and getting on the freeway just nice and slow. So in order to avoid that, you either have to drive a little spirited. Once you get a little anywhere above 3,000 RPM, it's quieter. It just has a nice tone to it. Or if you have passengers and you go a little slower even, you have to go pretty slow to stay under that range, and then it's quieter. But if you go just like a medium acceleration, it's kind of obnoxious. But once you get on the freeway and you set your speed and you don't accelerate, oh, you can't even hear it. The sound just goes away. So the only time you hear it is when you're stepping on it and you're accelerating. Other than that, this thing's super quiet. You wouldn't even know that it's modified, really. Which is really nice, because it never sounds good when a car exhaust is modified where it's just making loud screaming and you look over at the car and it's just idling at the light. You're like, there's something wrong with that. It's a bad aftermarket system. But then when you step on it, you obviously want to make some noise. I mean, we're car guys. We like to hear our cars. Also, another thing I really love about it is it makes these like little pops and crackles sometimes when you step on, when you take your foot off the gas. It's pretty dope. To take care of my other car, so that it doesn't have to sit out in the sun, I can't fit them both under this canopy really easily, so that'll keep that one protected. Alright, let's go over to the shop. So as some of you guys might know, I have a little shop here in Phoenix. I've been building a crew, and by little, I mean like a 15-car garage with a car lift and every tool that you can imagine to work on the cars. Slowly but surely been turning it into a headquarters for the car crew. And I'm going to introduce you to some of the guys soon. Have a video on it. We'll show you some of the cool cars that they've been getting and they've been building up. So I can't wait to introduce you to the rest of the crew. Alright, I threw the battery back in because I got to get this sucker out of the way of the lift. That way I can pull the Infiniti up here and do the Infiniti tune-up. So let's just temporarily lay this down. It should be good to run. Take one last look at it, make sure. Never be too safe. It looks like we're pretty much going to get it the rest of the way put together within the next 2 days, so pretty excited. If I had a dime for every time I got to take the skid plate off this thing, man, I'd be doing okay. So I want you guys to check out, I have a new Twitter and a new Facebook page for the channel, and I'll put them down in the description, or actually I'll put them up here on the screen so that you can check them out. Go ahead and follow those. Every time I post a new video, I put the link up on there. That way you know it'll be up, and that way you don't miss out on any new content. Cheers. So the HKS system is great, but how about some other options to the HKS? Let's see. Well, you still want something that's high quality, otherwise you're not going to be benefiting from performance. Unless your entire goal is just to make your car louder, sound a little bit more aggressive, and you don't really care about performance, then you could cheap out and go with whatever, or even fabricate your own. Honestly, just to get it louder, you can replace you can replace your resonator with straight pipe and your muffler with a pipe and get rid of stuff like that. And that's going to give you that loud, roaring rumble, but it's not going to do anything for performance-wise. But if you want something more performance-oriented, the Army-Trix exhaust, I've heard very good things about. Those things are also very expensive, though. I think they run a little bit more than HKS even, but they're a very reputable company. From what I've heard, they sound absolutely awesome. And a lot of them have active valve opening and shutting, so you can turn it on and off. You can open valves that'll make it louder or quieter versus based on where you're at, what you're doing. You know, if you're taking your nice car to like a nice like business meeting, celebration kind of thing where you need to look more, I don't want to say responsible, but more high class maybe, and you don't want to make the roaringness of it, then you can close the valves. Personally, I would never use that because I always want it to be more aggressive no matter what I'm doing, but that's just me. And if you can't afford an HKS system, maybe start small. They sell the mufflers separate from the rest of the catback, so maybe start with the muffler and then work your way up, save up for the rest of the catback system, and go with it as you can afford it. But one thing is for sure, it's a very expensive system, but I think it's definitely worth the money. And with exhaust, just like everything else, you get what you pay for. Alright, well, that's it for today. This is wrapping up the video. Catch you next time on Import Life. So before we end this video, I just want to say I'm on a tolerance break from caffeine right now. Because my caffeine tolerance was getting out of hand. It would take me like 3 cups of coffee before I even started to feel any energy from it. I was falling asleep all the time. I was drinking energy drinks like they were water. So I really just need to take a break for a while and let my body get used to not having caffeine. And then I'll be able to enjoy it again once I start drinking it again. You gotta do that every once in a while. If you get too much caffeine, you're not going to feel it anymore. You're not going to enjoy it anymore. It's just going to seem normal to you. Just like someone who smokes cigarettes, how they don't really get the nicotine buzz anymore.